Stephanie Vane, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone, Stephanie here with my April wrap up. I read a total of 5 books and 5 short stories this month, so I did decent considering that 3 of the books took a while longer than others to read. But let's get right into it, shall we? The first book I read this month was, I was going to hold it up upside down, Love, Rosie by Cecilia Ahern. This story follows 2 best friends who really care about each other and how they just keep missing each other. You know, either one's in a relationship, the other one's single, and they're scared to tell them because they don't want to break up the relationship type thing. And I loved it, I really did, but I ended up giving the book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I felt that first, the format of this book is amazing. It's in emails and IMing and letters and birthday cards and things like that. The problem is none of it is dated. So from one letter to the next, you're going to be present day, and then all of a sudden the next letter's 3 years later. I really got annoyed with that, and I just felt like it just kept jumping a little too often. And my second issue was that in some parts it just dragged on. It got very repetitive also, so that's actually a third point. But I felt that in some parts it just kept repeating the same thing over and over again. But I loved the ending to this book. I cried and it was beautiful, and I would still recommend this if you love stories and things like. But I recommend the movie, and I kind of sort of recommend the book. I don't know. Next book I read this month was one of my absolute favorites of the month. No shocker there. And that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Oh my gosh. Okay, first off, if you guys don't know what this book is about, because, you know, I haven't talked about it enough, nor has any other person who's talked about it, right? Too much. I know. It's one of those, like, all-consuming books that you just can't stop talking about. But anyway, it is about a woman named Claire Randall who, after World War II, reconnects with her husband by going on a second honeymoon, I want to say it's what they called it. And while in Scotland, because that's where they went, she ends up going to Craignadoon, which are these rocks that they have there, and there's stories that follow the rocks. Anywho, she gets transported back to 1743. From 1945, she goes to 1743 Scotland. Oh my god, first off, yes, it's a love story. There's a lot of love in this, but I feel like it's just so much more than that, especially if you continue on with the books. We'll touch on that in a moment. But I just felt like it was perfection. It was beautiful. Diana has amazing handwriting that just flows so well. I love Jamie. Jamie just has so much about him that I adore. And it's not because he's gorgeous in the show. It's his personality that makes him amazing. He reminds me a lot of Darrow. From Red Rising. Even though they're completely different, they admit their faults, and I truly appreciate that in a character. And I love that about Claire as well. You don't find that very often in any book. You know, usually they make dumb decisions and you just have to stick to it. But I just found this to be refreshing and beautiful. If you guys haven't picked it up, I found this to be fast-paced. I know that this is, a hunker of a book. This book, I read this one a lot quicker than I read the second one. But the first one was more fast-paced. It only took me like 6-7 days to read. So I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to reread the first one because I still love it so much. But anyway, 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely on the top list of best books I've read so far this year. Then I read another book that I really enjoyed. This is more like guilty pleasure, but it's still really good. I loved it, and that was Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers. I read this after Outlander because I needed something fast to read, and yes, even though it's like 500 something pages, they are very short. Like, there's not a lot of writing, so, and it's fast paced. You just like burn through it. It was such a good like pick me up, and I really enjoyed the story. But it's about a girl who I always forget her name. Ismay. Her name is Ismay. Stephanie, remember that. But Ismay is a girl sired by Death himself, Mortain, and she ends up going to a convent with nuns, and they're nuns that do his work, which means, yes, they kill people. But it's so good. I felt like in the beginning of the book, the characters were a little flat, but as the story kept progressing and the plot kept progressing, the characters were just rounded out a bit, and everything just kind of fell into place, and it was just kind of beautiful. It really was. So because of the beginning, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. 4 or 4.5? No, I gave it a 4. But I can tell you that I am dying to read the next 2 books. So I can't wait to read 20 off of my TBR so I can buy the next 2 books to this, because these are going to be super fast reads. And not just that, but I love how big and floppy they are. There's just something about floppy paperbacks that just makes my heart melt. I'm so happy. Then I read the 5 short stories I was talking about. Those were from a book I actually just bought this month. It was kind of like a splurgy. It wasn't expensive. And it's super enjoyable. But that is The Monsters Corner, edited by Christopher Golden. Now, when I picked this up, because Monsters Corner on the back, it talks about how this is from the monster's perspective. I was expecting like monsters, but it's not just like actual monsters. It's like bad people too that would be considered monsters. Anyway, I read 5 of the stories. My favorite story was definitely called The Torn Stitches Shattered Glass by Kevin J. Anderson. And it was about Frankenstein's like child in a way, because he created him in World War II Germany. It was so good. It was really a twist, and it was beautiful and sad, and it just kind of like warmed my heart. But so far I'm really loving it. I'm just kind of reading here and there, story here, story there type thing. So I'll probably finish this in April, but I'm really enjoying this so far. It's a nice little twist. And the last book that I have read, but I have 2 more chapters left, and I kind of don't want to finish it because I'm going to take a break from the series, and that is Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon. Obviously, I can't tell you the plot to this because that would be super spoilery if you haven't read the if you haven't read the second one, but you've read the first one. Either way, I can't talk about it. But I have I think 29 pages left. And I was gonna read them last night. I was like, no, I don't want to finish it. It's got like this book. I cried, and I just felt so much in this book. I mean, like, it's one of those, it's again, all consuming. It's just sucking the life out of me in the best way possible. Recommend this to everyone and anyone who read the first one but hasn't moved on to the second. Although this one was a much slower paced book, still so good. Like, I think I've been reading this for 2 weeks now, but I don't really care. That's like, oh, it was just so good. I'm gonna make up for it this month by reading a shit ton of books, hopefully. But I really am really loving it, and I don't want to read the last 2. It's just like, and there's only 4 episodes left to the season, and then it's gonna start here. I am all over the place. But anyway, 5 out of 5 stars. I can tell you that right now because it's just so good. It's so good. But I wasn't expecting it. I like panicked and freaked out throughout this book a whole lot. Just so much. So those are the books I read in the month of April. Those are the full books I've read, and then some stories. So let's go ahead and do my thingy-majiggy. If I can, why am I not holding this correctly, Stephanie? No, that's not a cute photo. Alright, stop sliding. It's the Grave Mercy. It's like a really slippery. I have no idea what I'm going to be reading this month. When I'm done with Dragonfly and Amber, I'll see what book I dive into next. But my wrap-up will definitely be up on Monday. I mean, my wrap-up? No. My TBR will definitely be up by Monday because, again, I still have no idea. Like, I have my eyes set on some books, but I do want to try to pick faster-paced books. So that way I can just kind of knock a bunch off my TBR. Because, again, I need to read 20 before I go ahead and buy more books. And I want to buy some books from Book Outlet because I've never ordered there. We'll see how that works out, but I definitely want to get the next 2 to the Grave Mercy. And also, I'm almost at 200 subscribers, which is amazing. I'm like 13 away, and when I hit 200 subscribers, because I wanted to do one when I got to 100, but then 100 came and left, and then I kind of just forgot about it because I'm amazing. Duh. But I want to do a giveaway because I think that's a great way to like show my appreciation for people. But more news on that when I actually hit 200 subscribers. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, let me stop rambling and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.